When you're implementing a new CRM and bumps in the road start to happen, the one thing you need to do is
join us for Impact Live 2024 in Hartford, Connecticut this October 14th through the 16th. Over 3 days, business owners, CEOs, and marketing and sales leaders will learn proven strategies to drive business growth. Attend expert-led sessions on marketing, sales, leadership, and AI, and get a chance to network with industry pros just like yourself. Discover how companies like yours are dominating their markets. Secure your spot at impactplus.com/impact-5. And for all of our Endless Customers listeners, we have an exclusive discount code that'll save you $100. So when you're on the checkout page, just enter the code ECPOD100 in all caps for $100 off. We'll see you there at Impact Live 2024 up in Hartford, October 14th through the 16th. Welcome back to Endless Customers, the show that teaches you how to earn trust and win more business in the age of AI. I'm your host, Alex Winter, and today we are joined by Will Smith. He's a HubSpot trainer and coach here at Impact. Will, welcome back to the show, brother.
Great to be here, Alex. Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome. Thanks for being here. We love having you. We got a great topic today. This is one that I feel like we talk about. It's like a broken record. We talk about this a lot, but we hear it from business owners a lot, so it's relevant. And they always ask, why do I need a CRM? Why do I need this customer relationship management tool? This mouthful of words, this huge technical piece. It's expensive. It's this, it's that. There's all the excuses. Why is it important, Will? Why do they need it? Let's just start high level with like, duh, this is why you need it.
Well, leave it to marketing to give us yet another acronym. So CRM, talking about your customer relationship management tool, usually a platform, some kind of software. And I really think that a lot of business owners, they underestimate the value of a CRM because they're managing with tools that are good enough, not spectacular, not bringing out the performance for their team, but they work. So it's the age old, hey, if it's not broken, why should I fix this?
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I've heard that before.
Exactly. Exactly. So there's also another misconception that CRMs are, well, that's for the big boys. That's only for the big companies. Only the big and largest companies, enterprise companies, they're the only ones that, because they have complex needs. So therefore, they should have all the tools and the automations and the CRM and all that stuff.
Right.
So it's really, a CRM is good for anyone. And so investing the time and resources into implementing a new system like a CRM, a lot of folks, they're like, whoa, wait a second. That's very daunting to me because I'm already juggling so many other responsibilities.
Sure.
Whether I'm juggling spreadsheets, whether I'm working on my email inbox, or even like, hey, I got to get back to that customer on my sticky note. Where did that sticky note go? So, these tools are just good enough, but are they really bringing out the best performance from you and from the rest of your team?
Yeah, and that's a huge question. That's a really huge question. I think we hear all too often for a lot of small business owners, for a lot of entrepreneurs, and for people that are really trying to level up their business, there's a lot of moving parts. You're selling, you're trying to drum up new business, you're tapping into your networks, you're trying to manage people and employees, and the list goes on and on and on, and it can be very daunting. And that's where you start to get into some trouble here where you may think it's good, but could it be better? And I love that question. And it sounds like a lot of business owners tend to tap into their network. They have referral-based business, they know people, and that works and can work really well for some time. But like anything, you can only tap into that for so long before you start to get into trouble. And then where do you get these new leads? How do you keep track of them? And we were talking about this before we started recording, but it brings me back to our good old friend Pareto with his 80-20 rule, right?
Yes.
Yeah, can we talk a little bit about that and just why this is so important?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of businesses, they get started because the owner or the founder has a great business network and they say, you know what, I have a solution that could really help my network. And so the initial startup is fairly easy because, well, they know the people, they know everyone. And so, but as the business expands, keeping track of every single customer interaction, well, that gets increasingly more challenging as time goes on. So you mentioned, Alex, the Pareto principle, and I'm sure our listeners are familiar with it as well. So, but this is where the Pareto principle is where 80% of the results come from 20% of your activities. And most business owners are probably burning those mental calories on, oh, I got to get back in touch with Bob, my good friend that I've known for about 10 years. And well, I haven't reached out to my best customer in a while. I haven't heard from them. So I need to reach out to them. So the 80-20 principle basically says, if you are spending the bulk of your time working in the business, getting back to people, leveraging these things, trying to do different things, getting back, follow up, all that sort of thing, rather than working on it, then you're missing out on a potential 80% of the results that come from strategic planning, that come from decision-making skills that eventually are going to grow the business rather than having the business plateau or worst case scenario start to go down.
Right.
And so if you're burning those mental calories on, I need to touch base, I need to find new leads, I need to do all these different things, then you're just working in the business rather than working on your business.
That's huge. That's really huge. And that's something that happens on a regular basis. And you think you're doing the right things because you get busy and it's hard to manage all these wheels that are spinning at the same time. And you end up working in the business and not on the business. And that's huge. So what else do you hear or resistance against CRMs? It sounds like price. You had mentioned earlier, like, oh, we can't afford that, and obviously every business is at a different point in their journey when it comes to scale and budgets and all those things. But why is that not a good excuse in your opinion?
Well, that's a common concern that I hear a lot. Oh, it's too expensive.
Yeah.
And rather than looking at a CRM as an expense, we need to kind of flip our mindset and view a CRM as an investment. I recently saw a study from Nucleus Research that basically shows that the average ROI for good CRM usage, not just buying it and hoping for the best, good, consistent CRM usage, the ROI is $8.71 for every dollar that is spent.
Dang. I like those numbers.
Those are really good numbers.
Yeah, can we say that again? For every dollar spent, you return $8.70 something cents?
71 cents. Boom. Yes.
That's huge.
It is huge because we see it as an expense. And not only that, the blurry vision of I have to do all this work to set things up when my sticky notes are working just fine for me,
right,
or my spreadsheets are working just fine. It's hard to see that future. Now, are you going to, if you purchase a CRM, the next day, are you going to realize that $8.71 for every dollar spent? No, just like anything, good results like that, it's going to take time.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it comes to price, if you look at a lot of the different models and a lot of different platforms, many CRM platforms, they offer different tiered pricing models. So, of course, at Impact, our favorite is HubSpot. So I can easily speak to that as a HubSpot trainer.
Absolutely.
So you can look at those tiered pricing models and see what's going to fit your budget. And the nice thing about that is that you don't need the enterprise solution yet. If you're still in startup mode, heck, they have a freemium model that you can give it a try it out, get off of those spreadsheets. Then when you're ready, you can move into the starter model. And really, then when you start growing, obviously you're making more money, you're doing better. You can invest more into your CRM and get up to the next level.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And I think that's something we hear too, all too often, that budget's a factor. And that's the reality. You're scaling a business, every dollar counts, right? And sometimes these CRMs, they can be expensive, and you have to figure out a way to position or look at it through the lens or the perspective of you're making an investment towards your business. You're making an investment towards growth. Because I love my spreadsheets too. And I was definitely one of those people that was in my spreadsheets and I had my system and my sticky notes and don't mess with my system. But HubSpot is a great tool. And there are other great tools out there as well. If you don't want to use HubSpot, there's all different things you can explore. We obviously love HubSpot here. But the truth is there's different tiers on purpose so that you can start to get your feet wet and dip your proverbial toe in the water and start to see what's going to work best for you and how you can leverage it to your advantage as a company.
I was just going to say, Alex, you remind me of a lot of folks that I've spoken with who I know my system, I like my system, don't mess with my system. As humans, we know what we like and we like what we know. And so looking past that to a future that may be unexplored and maybe a little bit fuzzy to understand, that's going to be key to really growing your business, to take that step, that leap of faith. And of course, it's going to be not so much faith, but also a step in a strategic risk to say, I don't know much about this just yet, but I'm going to step out and break away from what I am familiar with and what I know to get me to the next level.
Right. That makes sense. So my question, right, is you interface with a lot of clients. You help bridge a lot of these gaps with businesses that aren't leveraging a CRM, that are maybe interested, or maybe they don't even know that they should be using a CRM. When you're talking to clients like this or potential clients, what's that conversation look like? Like, how do you get some traction and get people to start to understand? Maybe they're not really bought into the idea of signing up for HubSpot or a CRM. How do you navigate that conversation to get them to see the value and to understand why it's important for their business to grow and just kind of get them on board?
That's a great question, Alex, because so many people with that question, they would launch into features and benefits. Oh, look, you can do this. Oh, look, you can do this. Oh, look, you can do this.
All the tools and all the features. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Like, wow, boom, razzle dazzle, all this great stuff. Sure. And sure, that's great. That's fun. It's nice to look at that sort of thing. But ultimately, what it comes down to is having the conversation and understanding what your goals are, understanding what your business goals are. Where are you now? What are you trying to get to? Where do you want to really increase your performance so that you can get to that next level? What's happened in the past? How did you get started? Where are you now? So it's really just kind of peeling back those layers, asking the right questions so that you can understand, okay, is this the right solution? So that this way we're not blanketing across, just saying, oh, everybody needs a CRM. If you're in business, you need a CRM. It's important to make sure that you understand those goals and where they want to get to, because then that just makes features and benefits. Sure, we can talk about that. But ultimately, if you can tie the two together, that's the conversation I'd rather have.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And I love what you're saying, only because this is a tool that you leverage to build into your overarching strategy. It's part of the company strategy. It's part of the mission. It's part of where your long-term vision is for where you want to take your company. And this helps you leverage those pieces to get there. It's not like, look at all the features and the shiny object syndrome that sometimes can occur. Okay, so if
it's not a magic wand, you're not going to just purchase, pay your bill, and just like, oh, all my business problems are solved.
No, that's so true, because we all too often, there's two things that happen, and I know this from you and from talking with Jess and with Joe Bashir as well, where like there's two types of people or businesses that we tend to like rub up against, where it's like they either aren't bought in and don't really see the value of a CRM, and we have to bridge that gap. Or the other option is they have a CRM and they're paying for enterprise, or they're paying all this money and they don't use it. And it's like just sitting there in the background, and everyone's like, I don't know who runs that. I don't know what people are doing with that.
And this is what we do, the way we've always done it.
Yeah. So it's really getting people to see that. So once people see the value, the strategy starts to come together. It's part of the business plan, part of the culture. What's the first step, or like what's the next step when you start to talk to these companies about like starting off correctly, implementing this correctly, creating good habits, that type of stuff?
Yeah, starting off on the right foot, Alex, is crucial. Starting off on the right foot helps you truly maximize your CRM's potential, not only now, but in the future. So, and it all comes down to training. Training whoever's going to own this CRM, whoever's going to be in charge of this CRM, who on the team is going to understand it the best. And so when we train the team, this way we show them how to use the system efficiency. To your point, a lot of folks, they come to us and they say, yeah, I've got this enterprise HubSpot, and I just have this gut feeling that we're just not using everything that we could be using. You're absolutely right. I see it all the time. They have this thing and they don't know if they're using or getting the value out of it. And so starting off on the right foot is important. And sure, you can learn. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there, but oftentimes, the old saying, you get what you pay for. And free stuff is good and it's very introductory and very surface level. But really, when it comes down to it, hiring an experienced HubSpot, in this example, a HubSpot trainer that can tailor and customize the CRM for your specific needs, help streamline that onboarding process, which is absolutely key because, again, people like what they know and know what they like. And this is something brand new. And if the onboarding process does not go smoothly, you're climbing that's a bigger hill to climb.
Totally.
And so if you need somebody that can also provide a good trainer that can also provide ongoing support. I still keep in touch with some of the folks that have finished their program with impact saying, hey, remember how 6 months ago you couldn't do this in HubSpot, but there's a new feature out now. And now you can.
Yeah.
And so ongoing support, all of these things, the right training, the right customization, having somebody there that knows your business and can help you through it, that's really going to accelerate that return on investment.
I feel like that couldn't be truer than right now, too, coming off of inbound and coming out of all these new features that have been dumped on us in a great way. There's all this new stuff, but HubSpot, just like any other CRM like Salesforce, there's always new features coming out. There's all these new tools that are coming out, and sometimes it's like drinking from a fire hose, keeping up with it. So you really need to have that expertise, that person who has their finger on the pulse to help bridge those gaps and make sure you're leveraging these new tools to your advantage. Great point there. Yeah. So what's the process that you take your clients through when you start your training, right? Let's get like a little granular here. Hi, I'm Alex. I own a business. I have a CRM. Will, what do I do? Help me. Like, how do we do this?
Well, I kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier there, but I would start by, Alex, understanding your business. Yeah. What are your business needs? What's unique about your business? And also, what are your current challenges? From there, I would then customize the training. Let's say, hey, I just bought HubSpot. What do I do next? I would customize the training to focus on the things that would provide immediate value. Low-hanging fruit. It's cliche, but it's true. If I can show you and you can see that return on investment immediately, that's going to really help accelerate that adoption of the CRM. So customize the training. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Customize the training. That's going to be step 2. Mm-hmm. And then step 3, I would go through setting up the CRM, making sure that, hey, if I'm coming off of something else, another CRM, or even if you're coming off of spreadsheets, hey, let's import that data. Let's not ignore it. Your business didn't start the day that you purchased your CRM. Right. So let's see how we can get, what data do you have and how can we get it into HubSpot that still makes sense for you, that makes sense for the team. I would then configure some of the automations because I'm sure there's stuff that you don't want to do that could be handled by automation. And then from there, I would make sure that we have tactical hands-on practice using real life scenarios so that you feel confident using the CRM. And an example of that is if we're in a HubSpot training, I never share my screen. You, Alex, you are driving.
I love that.
So yeah, it might be a little embarrassing. They're like, oh, I'm fumbling around. I don't know where to go and everything. And sure, I can fly around HubSpot pretty quickly and everything. But what will you learn watching me?
No, I would learn nothing. Frankly, if you pulled up your screen and showed me all this stuff, I would remember almost none of it. I have to. No, and that's me personally. Maybe some people are different, but for me, I have to actually do the thing. And if I do it, it's almost like muscle memory. Once I do it a few times and the more you practice, then I start to remember it, then it starts to become second nature. But if I'm just watching somebody else do it, it doesn't have to be a CRM. It could literally be anything else. It's the same rules apply for me. Yeah, and I think a lot of people are like that. So
got to do it. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Got to do it.
You help a lot of companies doing this. Do you have a story or something that maybe you could share with us of a company that maybe wasn't leveraging their CRM or didn't want to mess with a CRM and you got them excited, you got them bought in, it worked into their strategy, and now they're just like kicking butt?
So I don't have a specific company that I'm going to share a story with, but I will tell you what I see so often with companies that are B2B. Mm-hmm. There is a target account system within HubSpot that every time most 9 times out of 10, companies are not leveraging this. So if you're listening out there and you got your HubSpot open, here's where you go. You go to your company, you go to your company's, your index list there.
Okay.
And then over on the right side, you're going to click on target accounts. And what this does is it rearranges your data so that you're looking at the company rather than the contacts. B2B businesses don't know this exists. And I see a lot of frustration. Like, listen, I sell to companies. I mean, yeah, I am going to talk to Bill Smith at the company as a contact. But one of the most underutilized tools that I have seen pretty much across the board is the account-based management tools in HubSpot, also known as target accounts.
Target accounts. I hope you guys are listening, taking notes. That's a really great tip, Will. Thank you for that. I'm going to have to check that out myself.
In addition to that, HubSpot has this great knowledge base article that is, and a lot of their knowledge base articles are very broad, not very specific, only because obviously HubSpot helps a lot of different businesses and a lot of different verticals and everything.
Sure.
But when it comes to account-based management tools, there is a very specific tactical knowledge base article. So if you're on Google, check it out, HubSpot account-based management tools, how to set it up. And then they walk through workflows, how to set those up, and what the strategy is. It's very well done.
That sounds great. Great advice. I really appreciate that. I know our audience is going to love that too. I'm sure people are already checking it out. So another question for you. This just got my wheels spinning talking about this. What can business leaders do when it comes to picking a CRM? Because I feel like if we go all the way back, right? So we figure out the strategy, maybe have the buy-in, you got them excited about it. Why should they choose HubSpot or another CRM? Or like, well, how do you navigate those conversations and make sure that people are setting themselves up for success?
There is such a discrepancy between how easy it is to buy a new CRM and how difficult it can be to set it up without the right person. And so what I've seen a lot of organizations do is they reach a point with their current CRM and they just say, you know what, I'm just going to go out and buy this. And they pull out the card. It's very frictionless. It's great sales. It works well. However, they did not take the time to identify what do we need out of this thing? What are our goals? What are our challenges? Again, a lot of businesses have a hard time taking a hard look at themselves and saying, what exactly do we need? Which is the value of impact, because we always come in and we're kind of hey, we're just showing up here. We've done our research. Let me tell you what we're seeing about your business.
Right. And
we can make recommendations off of that. So that's the difficulty there. It's so easy to purchase. And yet if it's not done right, it's going to be an uphill battle. So what I would recommend is take a good hard look at your company, your business requirements, and what your goals are. Then take a look at your challenges. Would a CRM help you solve those challenges? Then you got to do your research.
Yeah, well said.
And figure, what aligns with these goals? What aligns with the challenges that you have? If you have one small thing that will not be solved by this particular platform, it's not the platform for you. But would you know that if you didn't take a hard look at your organization and what you're looking to accomplish? So take advantage, once you do your research, take advantage of those free trials, take advantage of demos, get a feel for the user interface, and get some people involved on your team, because they're the ones that are going to be using it on a daily basis.
That's a great point. And again, we love HubSpot here. We definitely recommend HubSpot, but we are not sponsored or paid by HubSpot to say that. That's just our own opinion. And ultimately here at Impact, we very much want to help our clients and help the general public at large to make the best decisions they can. So we're just being as straight up and honest with you that you should do your homework, do your research, and figure out what's going to be best for you and for your business. It's really, couldn't have said it better myself. Well, good points. All right, this brings me to my favorite part of the show, but I'm gonna put you in the hot seat for a second here.
All right, hit me with it.
What is the one thing out of this conversation we had today, talking about CRMs in general? What's the one thing business owners should take away from this conversation?
The one thing that business owners should take away from this conversation is take a good look at yourself. Before you do anything that is CRM related, take a good look. Where do I want to go? Where am I? Where do I want to go? What challenges do I have? That's the one thing.
I love that. Got to take a look at yourself. Respect. Will, this has been an awesome conversation. Thank you so much for being on the show and sharing your wealth of knowledge. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. We'll have you back on the show soon. You know that.
Awesome.
All right, brother.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you. And for everybody out there watching and listening, I'm your host, Alex. This is Endless Customers. We'll catch you on the next one.